Over the last 3 months since The Rise of Skywalker was released, I went from this,
I loved it. It was a good Star Wars movie. It was a solid ending.
to now, I don't hate it, but I certainly don't love it anymore. Now that I've seen it 5 times, yeah, 5 times, today I will give you my updated and changed opinions on Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. This is The Rise of Skywalker Re-Examined. This movie is a complete mixed bag for me. It's without a doubt super enjoyable, but also very, very chaotic and messy. All the stuff with Palpatine is garbage, but all the stuff between Rey and Kylo is great. Once again, mixed bag. Just as a binary review, if someone came up to me and said, do you love or hate The Rise of Skywalker, I could not pick either. I'm somewhere right down the middle. It's just meh. However, for me, that's the great thing about Star Wars. Even the average one, or in this case, the meh ones, I still truly enjoy it, and when I watch them, they put a big smile on my face. And watching this movie last weekend with my family, it was without a doubt fun to watch. It was just a fun movie, and yeah, it's an enjoyable flick. However, just because I personally enjoyed it does not make this movie, you know, good. Like I mentioned, Palpatine is absolutely terrible in this movie, but more than anything, this movie just feels hollow to me. Love it or hate it, The Last Jedi was not hollow. It was trying to say something and test the status quo of Star Wars. Whether or not you like that or appreciate it or think they did it well, that's a different story. But The Last Jedi was many things, but one of them was not hollow. The Rise of Skywalker unfortunately feels exceptionally generic. At some point, it just feels like it was made by a fan film generator. Rey is a Palpatine, the Emperor is back, Snoke was a clone, Ben and Rey kiss, Palpatine shoots a big blast of lightning. This movie has some serious generic cartoon vibes. However, my initial point still stands. My biggest positive with this movie is that it was enjoyable. I can watch this movie and have a good time, just the same way I can watch Phantom Menace or Solo, which I consider to be my 2 least favorite Star Wars movies. I can still put those 2 on and have a good time because I'm just back exploring this world, this galaxy far, far away that I love so much. Same thing goes for The Rise of Skywalker. I can put it on and enjoy it despite its many flaws. Also, there are some undeniably amazing scenes and sequences in this movie. The one that comes to mind, and this might be one of my favorite Star Wars scenes of all time, and that's when Rey reaches out to all the Jedi. It's so cool to watch, and I love hearing Jedi from the prequel and animated shows make of like a voice cameo in a new Star Wars episodical film. Han and Ben's conversation might just be the best scene in the entire movie. Kylo Ren is probably the best thing about the sequel trilogy. Seeing a fully fleshed out character arc in this new trilogy is amazing, and the way the dialogue is almost the same from The Force Awakens when Kylo kills Han is just so great and poetic. Everything between Rey and Kylo is fantastic. I don't like the kiss, but nonetheless, the connection between each other was great, just like in The Last Jedi. Both lightsaber battles were really cool to watch. Of course, the lightsaber battle on the Death Star wreckage was beautiful to look at, but the one I like more is the one on Kijimi. It feels more personal, and I just like that one more. The lightsaber pass scene was epic. Seeing Rey at peace just for a second when she senses Ben was amazing and perfectly captures why I love this pair of characters so much. This might be my most controversial take on the film, but the last 3 minutes I love. I love seeing Rey with her yellow lightsaber, that's not the controversial part, but I also love Rey Skywalker. I think that's a beautiful way to end the movie. I could go on about all the little lines and moments that I liked and enjoyed, but my main point is that I enjoyed this movie. Granted, enjoyed is a pretty loose term. What I'm trying to get across is I don't hate this movie like most. It does not come in very high in my Star Wars ranking. I'll spoil it for you. It comes in at 9th place. Regardless, I still watch it and enjoy it for what it is because there are cool moments that I like. Alright, that's enough positivity. After all, this is YouTube, and positivity is bad for views. Before I get into all the massive negatives with this movie, let's talk about some of the technical flaws. It is no secret that The Last Jedi is a very, very divisive movie. I personally enjoy The Last Jedi, but that's a video for another day coming soon. But since The Last Jedi was not loved by many fans, lots of this movie is course correction the movie and trying to get the movie on track, and then once it's on track, it just rapidly speeds up. Every time that this movie just takes its time and has nice personal character moments, it gets 10 times better. Unfortunately, it does not do it nearly enough. Some of the most important scenes in the entire movie just speed on by. For example, the most important reveal in this entire trilogy, Rey, you are a Palpatine. You are Palpatine's granddaughter. That should be a nice, long, stretched out moment, but instead, just seconds later, we get... Even Force Awakens had this problem. I'm not sure why Abrams just glosses over big, important character moments. Also, a big technical flaw of this movie is unfortunately the plot. Plot of this movie is a scavenger hunt. Huh? It's not a cool scavenger hunt where it's like really all laid out, and then when you unwind all the pieces and like look at it, like the master plan of the scavenger hunt, you're like, that's genius. It's one of those scavenger hunts that just, you should never solve. You should absolutely never solve this scavenger hunt. Like the fact that Rey stands there with the dagger and just happens to be in the perfect location. Once again, cartoon vibes. Pretty much just the entire script is messy. This is a very messy script. I'm sure there's a bunch of other little things wrong with this movie and a bunch of other plot holes, but plot holes aren't new to Star Wars. Now let's talk about the enormous just bad thing in this movie, and that is Palpatine. Palpatine does not work in this movie at all. The fact that he is back at all is dumb, but the execution and his actual plan is just even worse. All the Star Destroyers having these planet-killing firepower, once again, it feels like a cartoon. Even bigger than Palpatine being back and his plan just being dumb, the thing that bothers me the most about The Rise of Skywalker is that this is supposed to be the end of the Skywalker saga. Trying to make Episode 9 the grand finale of the Skywalker saga is a massive mistake for me. Episodes 1 through... This is the Skywalker saga. Anakin's story, and then later is Luke's story. This is the Skywalker saga. Episode 6 was the perfect ending. Having Episode 9 be the grand finale takes away from the original 6 movies. Switching fandoms for a second, let's talk about Harry Potter real quick. The main reason I hate The Cursed Child because it takes away from this fantastic ending. The Scar had not pained Harry for 19 years. All was well. Well, if you read The Cursed Child, clearly not. I'm totally fine with the original characters having different problems and missions they have to go on. Of course, not everything is going to be all was well forever. No matter how hard you try, you will never get a happily ever after ending. There will always be some kinds of problems. That's fine. But having the Skywalker saga end with the same big bad dying like an idiot 40 years later again, and that's supposed to be the final chapter, that's supposed to be the actual ending, yeah, I don't like that. I love the character of Rey, but I don't like that she ends the Skywalker saga. It should have been Luke or Anakin, and they did 40 years ago. Alright, let's talk about Rey Palpatine for a second, just because I need to talk about that. Yeah, I don't like it, obviously. I'm a Last Jedi fan, so I like Rey Nobody. It took me a while to appreciate Rey being a nobody, but yeah, I appreciate it a lot. You've heard me talk about it before. You can go check out my Last Jedi video that I did with some of my YouTube friends, including Sean Chandler Talks About, an awesome YouTuber. You should check that out. Plug. But yeah, you've heard me talk about it. It's a beautiful scene. Kylo reaches a hand out saying, dynasties don't matter. Rey, you are nothing, but you can be something. Join me. That's beautiful. That's poetic. It's meaningful. It's awesome. Rey being a Palpatine, fan film generator. It just feels like reveal for the sake of reveal. If they really set it up, then it would have been epic, but this just feels like a knee-jerk reaction. I want to talk about the fan discussion around this movie for a second, because the main consensus is very negative for this movie. The Rotten Tomatoes score, I'm not sure what's it at, like 87% fan approval? Yeah, I don't think that's the case. Like, just from my anecdotal, like, observation, I really don't think that's the case. Because it's funny, I'm like a mixture of both. I'm a Last Jedi fan, but I also don't like this movie for the other reasons of, you know, it's just being a messy movie. But also, as a Last Jedi fan, I don't like it because it, like, kind of discredits The Last Jedi. It's weird, you have two sides of the fandom. You know, you have the fandom extreme that anything that Disney Star Wars touches is, you know, SJW propaganda. Then you have the people, movie reviewers, who are like, yeah, that was a poorly crafted movie. And then you have Last Jedi fans who are like, what the heck, man? But man, I would love to see how Rian Johnson completed this. I want to see his vision fulfilled. I want to see what he would do next. It would be insane. Like, I just want to see how he would finish it. Or at the very least, I just want consistency. Like, this trilogy, as much as I love these two movies, and this one, you know, it's I want to see consistency. Like, either pick a director. Like, I'm not sure why they chose the most important one, the middle chapter. I'm not sure why they chose Rian Johnson. I love Rian Johnson. I love The Last Jedi. But why? Anyways, I'm kind of blabbling. My main point is that I wish there was consistency. Like, pick a director and have them make, you know, the whole thing. Also, the fact that this wasn't completely laid out and there wasn't a full game plan. Ugh, like, I will never get over that. Like, why? Why don't you write out a game plan? Yeah, yeah. Also, speaking about The Last Jedi, I want to talk about this scene real quick where Luke catches his lightsaber. Lots of people are calling that an FU to Rian Johnson. No, it's not. I know it's just super fun to just hate on The Last Jedi, but this scene really, it bugs me that people think that this is an FU to Rian Johnson. At the end of The Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker died with peace and purpose. He realized his mistakes, he realized his flaws, and said, okay, I messed up, but I'm going to be a symbol of hope for the galaxy. Just for this, 5-minute period, I will be a symbol of hope. He does his big force projection, it's amazing, it's mind-blowing, and then he dies with peace and purpose. He realized his flaws, his mistakes, his mental torment, he got over it. That same Luke would have caught the lightsaber. That is called a character arc. He went from grumpy and mentally tormented to now a beacon of hope for the galaxy, who would have caught the lightsaber and would have told Rey, don't do what I did. Don't do it. I was wrong. That's, at the end of The Last Jedi, Luke realized he was wrong. Alright, tangent over. I just wanted to talk about that because I don't like when people say, oh, you see that even Disney knows that The Last Jedi sucked. No, they saw a character arc and they went with it. The visual is kind of funny just because we're living we're living in 2020 and we know about all this fan chatter. Yeah, it might seem like an FU, but to the kids who watch this, 30 years from now, it's just going to be like, oh yeah, he threw it away in the last one and he redeemed himself at the end of the movie, so yeah, he caught it. No big deal. Just because we live in this internet fan chatter world, it seems like a middle finger or an FU to Rian Johnson, but it's not. But one thing I didn't like about the whole Luke scene is them trying to boil down his whole mental torment into, I was afraid, or whatever he says.
It was fear that kept me here.
He was so much more than just afraid in The Last Jedi. I literally just rewatched it 30 minutes ago. Video for another day before I get on another tangent, but it was so much more than he was afraid. So I don't like that they boiled it down just to that one throwaway line. Anyways, I gotta wrap up this video. I originally gave The Rise of Skywalker a B+. I will bring that down to a C+. And there you have it. I have been recording for an insanely long time. If you got to the end, thank you so much. Let me know in the comment section down below, what are your updated thoughts on Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Somewhere in the middle like me? Let me know. If you want to interact with me on other social medias, you can follow me at Twitter at DavidLawlerYT. Also, you can check me out on Letterboxd, and if you don't know what Letterboxd is, it's basically a social media for movies. You can talk about all your favorite movies, the movies you're watching recently. You can make lists of your favorite movies. You can check out my top 32 favorite movies on Letterboxd. Follow me there. I'm very active there. That's at LAWL3R. I know it's kind of a messy username. I can't change it unless I pay, so go follow this. Alright, that pretty much wraps up the video. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. May the Force be with you.